Five Nights at Freddy's, the beloved indie horror series where you spend anything but 5 nights in a haunted establishment. Hell, half the time, where we're staying isn't even Freddy's place. My dude, why are you, a sleazy landlord? Regardless of Frederick Fassington III's questionable trade, this is a series I have loved ever since its inception, which is a weird sentence to say for me because I've never really played the series. I've demoed the games in some variety, but I've never played them through from start to finish. Now, this is largely due to a major skill issue on my part, and because of that, I've always been an inside observer? We'll go with that, because despite that, I've always closely followed the series. From the theories, to the fan music, to the fan animations, and even plenty of the FNaF fan games. My life is an extreme... My life is as extremely tied with the thing with FNaF. I'll go with that take at this point as I am with Overwatch, and greatly unlike the latter, I haven't covered FNaF a lot on this channel, and that's because I find it rather difficult to talk about. See, a lot of FNaF content is, of course, centered around the sometimes misguided lore of the series, and with that comes theories, and as I've shown in the past, intellectual content is not my strong suit, with those two more being fanfiction than anything, but yeah, that's kind of why this identity-defining interest of mine has rarely been present. I'm dumb. Well, I guess another reason is the whole skill issue thing, which obviously comes into play with not only the actual series, but especially the fan games too. So many of which I've been enraptured by through other creators over the years, and it just feels bad to not talk about them myself, given how big of a part they are of FNaF canon. By that I mean FNaF as a part of the internet, not the actual series storyline lore. But you know, like anyone who's not a part of the Matrix, here's my in-progress book about how I escaped the Matrix. I do have opinions on a lot of aspects of the franchise, whether it be the already mentioned lore that I feel can come off as misguided sometimes, especially when it's spread across multiple pieces of media that aren't just the games, but also how it felt like there was a retcon at some point without us directly being told. The most notable example being the elusive infamous bite of 87 that we eventually saw in action in FNaF 4, but it turns out that was just a separate bite that took place in 83 that, conveniently, at least in theory, had the same outcome of the victim losing their frontal lobe. So if we just have to accept 83 as the new canon, or go along with the fact that two equally infamous bites took place, which, okay, that sounds more plausible given the state of Freddy's establishment and lore and how bad things just keep happening there, but see, this is why I don't do theory content. I'm lost already. Back to focus for a moment. I could go on about the more meaningful opinions I have in this series regarding stuff that actually matters for potentially hours. Don't challenge me on that, you will regret it. Or I could go on about stuff like how I love the first FNaF movie and how it was everything I ever wanted out of a live action movie, and how I'm super excited for the second one this year. My goal looks awesome so far, so let's hope production stays on track. Or I could just talk about my favourite animatronic slash character. Given the title of this video, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So FNaF characters are kinda difficult to have opinions on because most of the time they're just animatronics with no defining personalities, rather just certain behaviours that make them easy to identify through gameplay, and at that point it just gets into which one do you most like the design of. And in the cases where they do, e.g. through having a voice, most notably in Ultimate Custom Night, where every animatronic has one on dying to them, birthing the national treasure that is Mr. Hippo, it can be hard even then, given it's only a sentence half the time. Don't get me wrong, these voice lines are awesome, but I think you get where I'm coming from. After that, we get into human characters, and there aren't many of those, or at least there weren't, with the series introducing ones like Gregory and Vanessa in Security Breach, and Cassidy in its Ruin DLC, not to mention an actual depiction of Mike Schmidt in the movie, along with his kid sister Abby. All of these are decent, even if I feel Cassidy causes unnecessary confusion in sharing the same name as the victim that should have not been killed, aka the one that kinda leads to everything. And Vanessa slash Vanny is a wow of missed potential. Mommy? Sorry, mommy. Mommy? Sorry, mommy. But for those who are familiar with the series at all, you know I'm neglecting to mention such dancing around mentioning a certain character. Quite a popular one at that. Admittedly, I feel like a normie for having this one as my favourite character because, you know, this one is the favourite of many, but at the same time, I don't care because he's so damn cool. Springtrap, aka William Afton. Afton is legit the main antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's because
I always come back.
Yeah, that. Honestly, with how often he does come back, Scott should just rename the franchise to some number of Nights at Afton's. Snowner. Alright, yes, I know the Springtrap, known as Burn Trap, we see in Security Breach is actually the Mimic, but the Mimic blows, so I don't care. Hey, maybe Secret the Mimic will change my mind, we'll see. But anyway, this guy is awesome. Well, he's not, because he's killed so many people, many children, and then got Springtrap in a spring bodysuit in the back after being forced to retreat into it by the souls of the children he killed, which completely tore his insides apart when the spring locks dug into him because it was a faulty suit, and he was ready to the husk that still wanders the halls because he's just too angry to die. It's actually something to do with Remnant, this thing that keeps souls alive inside these animatronics. That's a weirdly unfocused upon aspect of the FNaF lore, but you know, don't worry about it, it's fine. Unimportant details aside, Springtrap to me is a really cool idea for a character because in the first game we learned that there were souls of innocent children inside the animatronics after they were murdered in the same pizzeria, and that's why they're hunting us down throughout the game, because they think we're the ones responsible. So to have the cause of these missing children incidents continue to wander around even after death, fused with the suit in a body horror kind of way, a soul that is far from innocent and just wants to cause more harm, is such an effective way to crank up the fear that would initially come with a killer hunting you, but this one's hunting you for sport and is now more powerful than ever thanks to the suit. It's all just a sadistic game to him. And yes, even when the whole place burns down due to faulty wiring for FNaF 3, like, what were you expecting? Look at this place. His bloodlust is just so strong that he finds a way to drag his corpse into a back alley of another pizzeria establishment, just so he can continue his spree. He also looks different here, I don't quite know why. You could say it's because of the suit getting burned up following FNaF 3, but this sprung bodysuit doesn't even have the same facial structure as the one in the iconic design. Or perhaps his body just crawled into a similar looking suit that just happened to be nearby, but that'd be such a lame explanation. One that would make sense, granted, because the previous suit will be reduced to ashes, but let's be real, I don't think FNaF is too keen on making sense most of the time. Point I think I'm trying to make here is that Afton is a determined killer and literally will not stop at anything, not even death itself, and that makes him a terrifying villain. Granted, a lot of this is undermined by the direction FNaF seems to be taking these days, where everything looks sanitized, contrasted with the raw, dirty look early FNaF bathed in, but hopefully this doesn't last long, and going by Security Breach Ruin and Secret of Mimic, it won't be. I say positively. And ironically looking forward to 5 laps of Freddy's. Never mind that though, despite Springtrap's iconicness as a part of the FNaF franchise in the games, the main series mind you, he's only been a primary antagonist in 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and Pizzeria Simulator. Yeah, it sounds odd when I put it like that. Sure, he's been in other games, like in the secret ending cutscene in Sith Location, and in Help Wanted in the End's Vent Repairs minigame and the final Pizza Party minigame, but those are only as Easter eggs, really. For such a fan favourite character that has clearly been positioned as the final boss of the series, with how much Afton in general has had an impact, it feels wrong. Now, that's likely because the Afton storyline reached its conclusion following Pizzeria Simulator in that hard as final speech, and Vanessa/Freddy is now being positioned as the new big bad, following in Afton's footsteps hinted at in lore tapes found throughout the Security Breach Pizzaplex.
When I study this, it sounds like there is someone else responding to you. Who is it?
And while that's cool, and I really hope they follow through on the potential Vanessa/Freddy has as a character, as a more conflicted William Afton, one who, despite her transgressions, something still pushes her to kill anyway, it's gonna be really difficult to live up to Afton's legacy. You know, as like an iconic character, not the whole in-universe killing children thing. And yeah, there's a reason Springtrap was chosen to be the killer representing FNaF in Dead by Daylight, and not just one of the random other animatronics, now standing alongside other horror legends like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, Sadako, and Ken Kaneki. What? Side note, it's honestly insane to see Springtrap alongside such characters, given how, well, FNaF was always a last-ditch effort by its creator Scott Core for now making video games, based entirely off of criticism he got from his previous game, Chip and Sons Lumberco, about the animatronic beavers looking creepy. And to be honest, there was no other option when the collab was revealed on the 10th anniversary of the franchise. If the eventual reveal on May 9th of this year wasn't Springtrap, it would have been a bust. You could argue the actual Freddy animatronic because, you know, but that's such a lame choice, Simo. You might as well choose the actual slasher fused with animatronic character. And let me just say, Springtrap, otherwise known as the animatronic here, in terms of his model, is looking damn good. I just love the slightly more unhinged look in his eyes compared to the original model, but I also love how it maintains that iconic design of his. Really so glad they went with this version, as if there's any other choice besides whatever Pizzeria Simulator had going on, or the Mimic's headcanon cosplay of what the suit looked like post Pizza Sim. I do think it's awesome as well that we're getting skins for Springtrap, a glitch trap from Help Wanted 1, and a movie version, even featuring Matthew Lillard doing the voice lines for that version. That's just so cool. The movie portrayal was so good, especially that reveal in the spring bonding suit. Just, oh, that's aura right there. You can't teach that. It feels weird to say I love this character given the lore, but man, Springtrap is just so damn cool. Besides his jump scare in FNaF 3, which just looks like he's leaning in to listen to you, tell him about your day, he's always been so cool to just see. Whether it be seeing him aimlessly roam the halls when you're luring him around, or even seeing the immediately cool crawling through the vent animation he has in the How Wanted version of FNaF 3, to even the fact he's still up and about in Pizza Sim, regardless of his dog water new design. It's cool to just see him anywhere, but damn do I wish merch of his was easy to get a hold of. I'm always seeing these weird clown versions of the main animatronics, or sometimes Fredbear from the How Wanted Halloween DLC, but never once have I seen anything Springtrap adjacent that isn't Gacha in physical form. My baby girl, I need him. I don't actually have any FNaF merch besides this cool movie poster I picked up at Comic-Con in early 2024, so I would like to start somewhere, preferably with a figure. I know I could just buy off Amazon or something, but why eat Urple? I guess it makes some sense given Afton's whole purple guy alias, but it doesn't look right. I don't like it. Well, point is, I really like Springtrap. And funnily enough, for a while, Nightmare Bonnie was actually my favourite, and only recently has that changed to Springtrap. Likely spurred on by his DVD reveal, and the fact he's just objectively the better character. Fan content has also been pretty good with him. I really dig the design in the Joy Creation Halloween update, where it's just a more withered version of the suit, now missing its jaw, but it still somehow remains intact. Truly one of the many perks of Remnant. And you know, there's always the unadulterated trip that is the Day Shift at Freddy's trilogy, where Afton, otherwise known as Dave, is just a chill guy even after he comes back as Springtrap. Peak portrayal here, honestly.
Okay,
I guess.
old sport. Watch this.
Oh, Christ!
10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, best game, best game.
Interestingly, I've always just kind of liked the rabbit characters in FNaF, from the original Bonnie design in FNaF 1 to this abomination of letters that can randomly appear in FNaF 2. And actually continues with Vanny even despite my initial disappointment with the character, because wow, she kinda bad though. Am I a furry?